Have you ever asked yourself, why am I feeling low again, even when nothing seems wrong? Or maybe you've wondered, why does the same sadness keep returning no matter how much I try to move on? Life is filled with ups and downs, yet sometimes the weight of sadness feels heavier than anything else, doesn't it? Think about this for a moment. You wake up in the morning, the sun is shining, people are moving around, but inside you feel empty, silently asking, why can't I feel the light that others seem to carry? This quiet struggle is something so many of us face, even if no one sees it. Imagine this simple scene. A person sitting at a crowded cafe, surrounded by laughter and voices, yet they feel completely invisible. Everyone is talking, smiling, planning their lives. But inside, that person feels like they are carrying a heavy stone no one else can notice. That loneliness, that silent sadness, is what we are here to talk about today. Welcome, dear friend, to Wisdom Woven. Here, you are not alone, and most importantly, here you are understood. Before we dive deep into this journey of healing, we want to kindly remind you, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribes. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means so much and keeps us inspired to share more wisdom for you. Now, let us begin together. Depression is not just a word, it is an experience, an invisible storm that sits quietly in the heart. But Buddhism has taught for hundreds of years that even the darkest storm can pass, and even the deepest wound can heal. At the center of Buddhist thought is the nature of suffering, something called dukkha. It tells us that pain, loss, and sadness are not signs of weakness, but part of the human journey. This means what you feel is not wrong. It is simply life asking you to look deeper. When we look into the teachings, we find one reassuring truth. Nothing lasts forever. Just as night always turns to morning, so too can sadness shift into peace. The key is understanding, patience, and learning to walk gently with your feelings instead of fighting them. Buddhism reminds us that struggles in the heart can be softened by awareness and compassion. So, in this journey together, we will take small steps into stories, lessons, and practices that can help us see depression not as a cage, but as a doorway to deeper understanding, where hope lives quietly, waiting to be noticed. Stay with us, because what lies ahead may touch your heart in ways you never expected. Understanding the cycle of depression. When the mind is clouded with sadness, it feels like being trapped in a circle with no way out. The pain returns again and again, as if stuck in an endless loop. This is what many call the cycle of depression. It is not just one sadness, but many moments of pain gathered over time, looping silently in the heart's corners. Let me share something important. This cycle, though heavy, can be understood, not to give power to the pain, but to loosen its grip gently. Imagine you are walking through a forest. At first, you see just trees, shadows, and a path that seems to never end. If you do not notice the steps you take, the forest swallows your attention, and you may lose a sense of direction. Depression is like this forest. When your thoughts are restless and feelings heavy, it is easy to feel lost. But if you slow down and observe each step carefully, a new path begins to open. One that promises understanding, not escape. In Buddhist teaching, suffering, or dukkha, is not just the big sorrow you see in tears or cries. It includes the small, quiet difficulties that come from dissatisfaction inside. Sometimes the cycle of depression starts with something small, a tiny hurt or disappointment, which then grows in the mind. This pain, when left unspoken and unseen, becomes a seed that blossoms in silence. The mind reacts, pushing and pulling away from it, and in that push and pull, the sadness stays alive and often grows stronger. This cycle feeds itself because the more you fight the sadness or try to forget it, the more it clings to your heart. Like trying to hold water in your fist, the tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. The first step is to see this clearly. When you feel low, do not try to immediately fix it or run from it. Instead, be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to feel the sadness without judgment, without whispering harsh words inside. This is the beginning of breaking the cycle. It is natural to want answers, to want to be free of the pain quickly. But real healing takes time, like a garden that needs water, sunlight, and patience. In the quiet teachings of Buddhism, one learns that suffering, sadness, and depression are like clouds passing in the sky. Sometimes dark, sometimes light. They are part of life's weather. Watching the clouds, without clinging to their shapes or fearing their passing, gradually brings peace. The mind, like the sky, can be clouded with thoughts that say, "I am broken. No one understands. This will never end." These thoughts are not truths. They are passing clouds that come and go. Being trapped in the cycle of depression means giving too much power to these clouds, believing they are permanent and real. The Zen way invites us to recognize these thoughts as just passing visitors, not the essence of who we are. When you practice watching the mind in this way, you begin to see the patterns of sadness more clearly. You notice what triggers the pain, and you see how the mind responds. Sometimes it wants to shut down, sometimes it rages inside. Neither is wrong. Both are parts of being human. But by observing without reaction, without judgment, the chain of suffering begins to loosen. There is a story of a person who carried a heavy bag filled with stones. Each stone represented a hurt or an unhappy thought carried through many days. One day, the person met a wise teacher who said, "Why do you carry such a heavy bag?" The person answered, "It is my pain. I cannot let it go." The teacher smiled gently and said, "You have the power to set it down, but first you must see it clearly. Carrying pain does not make you stronger. It only makes the journey longer and harder." This teaching reminds us that depression is a burden we do not need to bear alone or forever. Seeing the cycle clearly, acknowledging it without fear, is a way to begin releasing some of that weight. By turning toward pain with patience and kindness, the mind can start to rest, even in the presence of sadness. In the cycle of depression, there is often a voice that says, "I am alone in this." But Buddhism teaches that suffering is a common thread that connects all beings. You are not alone. Every person experiences some form of pain. By understanding this connection, the heart opens a little more. It becomes easier to bear the sadness, knowing it is not a sign of failure, but part of the shared human experience. This shared experience also means that there are many ways to change the cycle. The Zen master teaches that one small change in perspective can ripple outward. When the mind shifts from fear and resistance to curiosity and acceptance, the cycle of depression begins to dissolve. That change does not erase the pain overnight, but it transforms how the pain lives inside you. Practice is the key. Small moments throughout your day, pausing to breathe deeply, feeling your feet on the ground, simply being present. These are gentle invitations to step out of the cycle and into awareness. Awareness means seeing your sadness with an open heart, not pushing it away. This act of seeing is powerful because it loosens the hold sadness has on your mind. Many times, depression pulls at us like a stormy sea, shaking the boat of our mind. The more we struggle against the waves, the more exhausted we become. The Zen teaching says, learn to float without fighting. This means allowing the waves to come and go while trusting the deeper water beneath your mind is calm and steady. That deep calm is always there, even when the surface is rough. This calm is like a light inside the darkness. It may be small and hidden, but it is never gone. By gently returning your attention to this inner light, no matter how faint, the cycle of depression begins to change. It does not demand perfection or quick fixes. It only asks for gentle presence, moment by moment. The cycle of depression can feel endless, but the Zen master reminds you, like the seasons, this too will change. The cold, heavy winter of sadness will give way to the warmth of spring. Trusting this natural flow helps the heart to bear the difficult times and to open to healing. In the coming parts, we will explore how these teachings unfold in simple practices and stories. For now, take a deep breath and know that beginning to understand the cycle of depression is a courageous step. It is the first light breaking through the clouds, the first sign of peace waiting quietly for you. Would you like me to continue with part 3 next? Here is part 2 of the script narrated by the Zen master, written in very simple, warm, and heart-touching language, with descriptive and engaging content around 10,000 characters. Have you ever noticed how sometimes sadness doesn't just come once, but keeps coming back again and again? Like a song stuck in your head that you can't escape. It's as if a heavy cloud keeps circling your heart, and no matter what you do, it won't leave. This is what many people call the cycle of depression. It's not just one moment of feeling low, but a repeating pattern where sadness becomes part of daily life, quietly pulling you down. Imagine a river that flows smoothly at times, but sometimes gets blocked by stones. The water behind those stones pools up, becoming still and dark. That stillness is like depression. It isn't moving forward, stuck and heavy, but the river keeps flowing, even beneath the stones. The water is waiting for the stones to be moved or broken. This is the wisdom hidden in the cycle of sadness. Even when it feels stuck, there is always some flow underneath, ready to help you move forward. In Buddhism, understanding suffering is the first step to healing. The Buddha taught that all beings experience dukkha, or suffering, and it's a natural part of life. This suffering can be physical pain, but more often, it is the emotional and mental pain we carry inside. When depression visits, it is a form of dukkha, a deep dissatisfaction with how things are. But this is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is simply part of being human. The cycle of depression often begins with small moments, feelings of loneliness or a quiet fear, or a loss you might try to ignore. These moments pile up like leaves in the wind, swirling inside the mind. Sometimes, we try to push these feelings away and pretend everything is fine. But when we do this, the feelings don't disappear. They gather strength in the dark, and the cycle of sadness grows stronger. To break this cycle, we must start by looking clearly at what is happening inside us. Many people fear sadness or depression, trying to run from it quickly. But the more we run, the more tired and trapped we feel. Instead, Buddhism asks us to slow down and be with our feelings, not to fight them, but to meet them with kindness. This is like meeting a friend who is hurting rather than turning away. When you sit quietly and watch your feelings without pushing them away, you begin to see something new. You see that feelings come and go like waves on the ocean. Sometimes the waves are small and soft. Other times, they are big and strong. Both are natural, and neither lasts forever. Even the strongest storm will pass, leaving calm water behind. Our thoughts can often make the cycle worse. Thoughts that say, "I am broken, I will never be happy," or "no one understands me," make the sadness feel bigger and heavier. But these thoughts are just stories the mind tells itself. They are not the truth. They are like clouds covering a bright sky. When you learn to watch these thoughts without believing every word, they lose their power. The Zen way teaches that we are not our thoughts or feelings. We are the space in which they happen. Imagine sitting in a quiet room with rain falling outside. You hear the rain, but you are not wet unless you step outside. Thoughts and feelings are like the rain. You can notice them, but you do not have to be soaked by them. There is a story of a traveler who carried a heavy backpack full of stones. Each stone was a hurt or a painful memory. One day, the traveler met a wise person who said, "Why do you carry so many stones when your journey is long and hard?" The traveler replied, "I cannot let them go. They are part of me." The wise person smiled and said, "You have the power to set them down and walk lighter. The journey will be easier when you do." Depression is like that heavy backpack. It is natural to carry pain, but you don't have to carry it forever. By learning to see the cycle of sadness without fear, and by treating yourself with kindness, you can begin to set some stones down. This doesn't mean the pain disappears at once, but it starts to feel lighter. Remember, you are not alone in this. Everyone experiences pain and sadness in life, even if it looks different for each person. This shared experience is part of being connected. When you understand that suffering is common and not a personal failure, your heart can soften a little. This softness is the first step toward healing. Breaking the cycle does not mean you will never feel sad again. It means you will learn to live with sadness in a new way, a way that does not control you or trap you. You will learn to float on the waves instead of being pulled under by them. Small practices can help. Taking a few deep breaths when sadness arises, noticing the sensation of your feet on the ground, or simply allowing yourself to be present with your feelings without judgment. These moments of awareness are like stepping stones that gradually take you out of the cycle. The mind is like the sky, at times cloudy, at times clear. When clouds cover the sky, the sun does not disappear. It is just hidden. With patience and gentle awareness, the clouds will part, and the sun will shine again. The sun is your true nature, always present beneath the clouds of sadness. In the coming times, we shall explore simple practices and teachings that can guide you through the darkness. For now, know this: understanding the cycle of depression is a powerful step. It is a light in the dark, a quiet hand reaching out to help you find peace inside. Roots of suffering in Buddhist teachings. In the quiet moments when the world fades away, it is natural to ask, where does this sadness come from? Why does the heart feel heavy with pain that seems to have no clear cause? The answer to these questions lies deep within the teachings of Buddhism, which have been passed down through generations to help us understand the nature of suffering and how to live with it peacefully. The Buddha taught long ago that suffering is an integral part of life. This suffering is called dukkha, a word that means more than just sadness or pain. Dukkha is the feeling inside us when things are not as we want, when life feels difficult or unfair, or simply when we face the reality that everything is changing and nothing lasts forever. It is the quiet ache of dissatisfaction that lives deep in the heart. Many people only think of suffering as physical pain or big tragedies, but Buddhist teachings remind us that even small, everyday troubles are also forms of dukkha. Feeling restless, lonely, worried, or empty, all these are part of the roots of suffering. They are like the surface of a lake disturbed by many small ripples. These ripples come together to shape how we experience pain in our lives. The Buddha explained suffering through what is known as the Four Noble Truths. These truths help us understand suffering clearly and show us a way to find freedom from it. The first truth is simple but profound. Suffering exists. We all know pain, loss, disappointment, and sadness. These feelings belong to being alive. Accepting this truth is the first step on the path because it stops us from feeling alone or broken for experiencing suffering. The second truth tells us why suffering exists. The Buddha said it comes from craving or attachment, wanting things to be different than they are. When we grasp at things, whether it is a happy memory, a beloved person, or even the hope for a better future, we create tension in the heart. This tension causes suffering. We desire comfort, control, and certainty in a world that refuses to offer these guarantees. The third truth is a message of hope. Suffering can end. This ending is called nirvana, a state where the heart is free from craving and painful attachments. It is not a distant, mysterious place, but a peace that anyone can touch through practice and understanding. This peace is the quiet center beneath the storms of life. The fourth truth offers the path to that peace. This path is called the Noble Eightfold Path, and it guides us in how to live, think, and act so that suffering decreases and happiness can grow. It teaches wisdom, ethical behavior, and mental discipline, like a gentle hand leading us out of the darkness and into light. At first, these teachings may seem hard to accept, especially when sadness feels heavy. But they do not blame you for suffering or say you have done something wrong. Instead, they open a door to seeing suffering with compassion and clarity. The Buddha's way shows that suffering is not punishment. It is a natural part of life and an opportunity for deep growth. One of the deepest roots of suffering comes from misunderstanding the nature of life itself. In Buddhism, this is called avidya, or ignorance, not in a harsh way, but simply not seeing things clearly. We often believe that the self is permanent, that our feelings are unchanging, and that happiness comes only from outside things. These beliefs create expectations that cannot be met, leading to disappointment and sadness. Consider this example. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. The more tightly you hold, the more the water slips away. The same is true for life. When we try to hold on to people, moments, or feelings, expecting them to stay forever, we create tension that leads to suffering. The Zen master teaches that by letting go gently, by accepting impermanence, peace begins to grow. Impermanence is one of the most important Buddhist teachings related to suffering. Everything in life changes. Morning becomes night, joy fades, and sadness passes. Recognizing this truth does not mean becoming cold or detached. Instead, it invites us to appreciate each moment, knowing it is unique and cannot be held forever. This awareness softens the heart and helps the cycle of suffering to lose its power. Another root of suffering is attachment. We become attached not only to things and people, but also to ideas, beliefs, and even to how we think we should be. When reality does not match these attachments, pain arises. The more we cling, the deeper the suffering. Understanding this encourages us to open our hands and hearts a little more, freeing ourselves from the heavy chains of should and must. Anger, fear, and jealousy are also forms of suffering that arise from attachment and ignorance. When the mind is caught in these emotions, it becomes restless and unsettled. Buddhism teaches that by practicing mindfulness and compassion, we can calm these storms inside. Mindfulness helps us see clearly what is happening in the present moment, without getting lost in judgment or fear. Compassion, both for ourselves and others, is the antidote to much suffering. When we treat ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a dear friend, the heart feels less burdened. Instead of fighting sadness with harshness, we learn to hold it gently, to listen deeply, and to accept the parts of ourselves that feel broken or lost. There is a beautiful metaphor in Zen about a cracked pot. The pot carries water, but its cracks cause water to drip out along the way. Rather than hiding the cracks or trying to fix them, the pot maker adds gold to the cracks, making them beautiful and valuable. This metaphor reminds us that our wounds and suffering do not make us less. They make us uniquely human and can become places of light and strength. When sadness or depression feels overwhelming, it is important to remember the simple truth. Suffering is rooted in the mind's grasping and misunderstanding. By loosening this grasp, by learning to see life without the filters of fear and desire, we take the first steps toward freedom. This is the heart of Buddhist wisdom. The journey is not always easy. Sometimes, the old habits of craving and clinging are strong and pull us back into pain. But each time we notice these patterns, each time we bring gentle awareness to our hearts, the cycle loosens a little more. There is no shame in asking for help or seeking support from others on this path. The Buddha often spoke about the strength found in community and friendship. Sharing your experience, speaking your truth, and listening to others can bring light to the darkest corners of the heart. Zen teaches that every moment is an opportunity, a fresh chance to wake up to reality as it is. When the cycle of suffering feels like a stormy sea, think of yourself as the ocean, deep and steady beneath the waves. The waves rise and fall, but the ocean remains calm and vast. With time, patience, and practice, the roots of suffering can be gently uncovered and understood. And with understanding comes freedom. The freedom to live more fully, with a heart open to both joy and sorrow. This is not a distant goal, but a living, breathing journey available to all who seek it with an open heart. Depression through the lens of impermanence. To truly understand depression, we must open our eyes to one of life's most profound truths: impermanence. In every breath, moment, and heartbeat, we live in change. Like clouds drifting across the wide sky, nothing in this world remains the same. This truth, simple yet deep, holds the key to lightening the heavy burdens carried by those who feel trapped in sadness. Many people believe that pain or suffering will stay forever, that their sadness is permanent and unchanging. This belief makes the heart heavy and the mind restless. But the Zen masters teach us to see differently, to notice that everything, even our deepest sorrow, moves like a river flowing endlessly. Nothing clings, nothing stays fixed. Imagine a leaf floating on a stream. It carries the weight of the water for just a moment, then drifts farther downstream. Sometimes the leaf spins, caught in small whirlpools of emotion, yet the current never stops guiding it forward. This leaf is like our feelings, ever-changing, sometimes turbulent, but never fixed in one place. In Buddhist teaching, this truth is called anicca, the truth of impermanence. Everything we see, hear, and feel is in constant motion. Our bodies age, our thoughts shift, and even the stars above dance in unending rhythm. This means that the sadness you feel now is not who you are. It is just a passing cloud in the vast sky of your being. This understanding of impermanence is not meant to make us feel small or insignificant. Instead, it invites us to relax our tight grip on the way things should be and open to the flow of life's natural changes. The Zen path encourages us to greet each moment with curiosity and openness, even when that moment carries pain. When depression feels like a storm, it can seem as if the storm will never end. The wind howls, and the rain falls relentlessly. It's easy to lose hope, but the storm is only part of the weather, and like all weather, it changes. Behind the storm, the sky is always calm and clear. Learning to trust this is a step toward peace. One practice the Zen masters offer is to simply watch the breath, the rise and fall of the chest, the gentle in and out. This breath is always moving, never still. One moment here, the next gone. By returning attention to this simple flow, the mind is reminded of life's constant change. Sadness, too, flows in and out. It is not fixed or permanent. Sometimes, when we feel depressed, we want to hold on to something solid, something we can rely on. We look for certainty in a world that offers none. But the truth of impermanence invites us to find strength in not clinging, to find peace in letting go. When we stop resisting the flow of change, we create space within ourselves for healing. This does not mean numbness or giving up. It means a gentle acceptance of whatever arises. Like a mother holding a crying child without trying to stop the tears, we can hold our sadness with kindness and patience. We create a safe space within, where pain is allowed to exist without fear or judgment. The Buddhist teaching reminds us that clinging to permanence is a root cause of suffering. We want things to stay the same: our youth, our health, our happiness. But when life shifts, as it naturally does, clinging causes pain. Learning to see the beauty in change softens the heart and frees the spirit. There is a story of a Zen monk who sat by a river and watched the water flow by. He said, "The river never stops, yet it is never the same water twice. Life is like this river, always moving, always new. By drinking in this wisdom, we can learn to flow with life instead of being broken by it. When sadness arrives, it may cloud the mind like heavy fog, but fog does not stop the sun from shining. It only hides it temporarily. By practicing awareness of impermanence, we can begin to trust that the fog, too, will lift. This trust is small at first, like a seed planted deep in the earth, but with time it grows strong. Sometimes, impermanence can feel scary. Letting go of what we love or depend on feels like losing a part of ourselves. This fear is natural, but the Zen masters teach that by embracing impermanence, we discover a deeper freedom. Freedom from the fear of loss. When we no longer cling tightly to what fades, we become lighter and more open. Each moment offers a chance to practice this letting go. When a painful thought arises, notice it gently. Say to yourself, "This too shall pass." Repeating this simple reminder helps the mind to soften, and the heart to open. Like the river flowing down the mountain, sadness is not permanent, but part of the journey. It is also important to understand that impermanence applies not only to sadness, but to joy, hope, and peace as well. Life is a mixture of experiences, moving constantly. By welcoming both happiness and sadness as guests who visit but do not stay, the heart learns balance and grace. The path of impermanence is not about forcing change, but noticing change as it naturally unfolds. It is about moving from resistance to acceptance, from fear to trust, from grasping to openness. This path asks for courage and patience, for the willingness to look deeply into life's endless dance of coming and going. In feeling the weight of depression, it is easy to lose sight of the ever-changing nature of all things. But by returning again and again to the truth of impermanence, the mind is reminded that no cloud, no matter how dark, hangs forever in the sky. Zen teaches that we are not separate from this flow of life. We are part of the river, the sky, the stars. Our sadness walks with us for a time, but it cannot define who we are. Deep beneath the layers of emotion and thought, there is a vast, open space, always quiet, always free. This space is called emptiness or sunyata. Not empty as in nothingness, but empty of fixed ideas and lasting pain. It is the heart's true nature, untouched by suffering. Meditation helps us to touch this place when the world feels too heavy. As you listen to these words, know that every moment is a new opportunity to practice seeing impermanence. When sadness feels overwhelming, gently remind yourself, this feeling, like all feelings, will change. It is not who you are. You are the vast sky, beyond all clouds. The teaching of impermanence is one of hope. It shows that change is possible. No sadness, no matter how deep, can hold you forever. By learning to flow with life's changes, you begin to awaken to a lighter, freer way of being. This awakening does not erase pain, but transforms how you live with it. There is beauty in the passage of time and strength in the acceptance of change. This beauty and strength are gifts waiting to be discovered by all who walk the path. Embrace the flow. Trust the process. Know that the cycle of depression, like all things, will pass. And in that passing, there is a dance of life filled with endless possibilities for peace and joy. The power of mindfulness in dark times. In the quiet spaces of our hearts, when the world feels heavy and the mind is clouded by sadness, there is a gentle light that can guide us home. This light is mindfulness, the simple but powerful practice of being present in the moment, fully aware of what is happening inside and around us, without judgment or fear. Many people believe mindfulness is something complicated or mystical. Yet, at its heart, mindfulness is simply paying attention, like tuning your ear to a soft melody or feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. It is the art of returning again and again to what is exactly as it is, without trying to change or escape from it. When depression weighs on the soul, the mind often rushes away into thoughts of the past filled with regret or the future filled with worry. These restless thoughts pull us deeper into sadness and anxiety. Mindfulness offers a quiet refuge, a place where we can rest gently and see our thoughts and feelings as they are, without being swept away by them. Imagine sitting by a calm lake early in the morning. The surface is still, reflecting the trees and sky like a mirror. When a small breeze brushes the water, ripples spread and distort the reflection. Mindfulness is like watching those ripples without getting stirred by them. Aware of the movement, but resting in the stillness beneath. The Zen masters teach that mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts or trying to control emotions. It is about seeing clearly what is happening, moment to moment, with a soft and curious heart. When sadness comes, instead of running or fighting, we turn toward it with kindness, noticing its shape and texture inside us. One simple way to begin mindfulness is to focus on the breath. The breath is always present, moving in and out like waves on the shore. Breathing slowly and deeply invites the mind to slow down its endless chatter and become more grounded. Even just a few mindful breaths can calm the heart and bring a sense of peace. When you practice mindfulness, you may notice a shift in how you relate to your sadness. Instead of being overwhelmed or consumed by it, you begin to watch it with gentle interest. You see the sadness rise, linger like a cloud, and then pass away. This seeing changes everything. The sadness becomes a visitor, not a permanent occupant. Mindfulness also helps us notice patterns in our minds, the habitual thoughts and feelings that keep depression alive. Perhaps the mind repeats harsh words like, "I am not good enough," or "nothing will ever change." By observing these thoughts without believing them, we break the spell they cast. We learn that thoughts are like passing clouds, moving across the sky of awareness. With mindfulness, the heavy fog of despair begins to lift. The world doesn't have to look perfect or feel happy for peace to emerge. Peace is there beneath the surface, waiting patiently for us to notice it. This peace is always part of us, even when sadness covers it like a veil. The power of mindfulness can also be found in everyday moments. Listening deeply to the sound of birds, savoring the taste of tea, feeling the softness of clothing against skin. These simple acts invite us into life's present moment and remind us of its beauty, even in dark times. The Zen master often reminds students, "The present moment is your home. Be here fully." When depression drags the mind into the past or worries about the future, mindfulness is the gentle hand guiding us back to this home. It whispers softly, "You are safe in this moment. Breathe. Be." Along with breath, body awareness is a powerful form of mindfulness. Depression can often cause the body to feel heavy, tight, or drained. By gently noticing bodily sensations without trying to change them, we reconnect with the alive presence within us. A softening of the body can lead to a softening of the mind. Even when feelings seem overwhelming, mindfulness offers a way to not be swallowed by them. By staying present with discomfort, we discover a quiet strength. We learn that pain and peace can coexist. This coexistence is the doorway to healing. Mindfulness is not a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. There will be days when the mind is clear and days when it is clouded. The Zen masters teach patience with this process. Each moment of awareness, no matter how small, plants seeds of peace that grow over time. Sometimes the mind may resist mindfulness, preferring distraction or numbness. This resistance is a natural part of healing. Gently returning attention to the breath or the body, without judgment, is itself mindfulness. Every gentle return is a victory. The practice of mindfulness also helps us grow compassion for ourselves. Depression often brings harsh self-judgment and self-criticism. Mindfulness creates space for kindness, a soft voice inside that says, "It's okay to hurt. I am here with you." This compassion is like a balm, soothing wounds left by pain and loneliness. Through mindfulness, we begin to see that we are not defined by our sadness or depression. We are the awareness that watches sadness come and go. This awareness is vast, open, and free. It does not cling to suffering, but holds it gently until it passes. There are many mindfulness practices, but all share the same heart: to bring loving attention to the present moment. This attention is a gift you can give yourself every day. It does not require special tools or a perfect setting, just your willingness to be present. Remember that mindfulness is not about perfection or achieving a certain state. It is about showing up for yourself again and again with an open heart. This simple act of presence changes the way the mind relates to sadness and opens the door to peace. When the night feels long and the mind restless, mindfulness is there as a quiet anchor. It is the light that never fades, even in darkness. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to live through sadness with grace and courage. The heart's journey through depression is not easy, but mindfulness lights the path. It teaches us that peace is not found by escaping pain, but by meeting it with gentle awareness. In this meeting, transformation begins. So, when you feel lost or overwhelmed, return to your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen deeply to the sounds around you. These moments of mindfulness are like stepping stones that carry you out of the darkness and into the light. The Zen master reminds us, each mindful breath is a gift. In this breath, you are home. In the power of mindfulness, even the deepest sadness can soften and open to healing. Compassion towards the self. There is a gentle truth that often gets lost when we are wrapped in sadness. We must be kind to ourselves. When depression fills the heart, many voices arise from within. Old voices of doubt, blame, and harsh judgment. But the path of healing invites us to meet those voices with compassion, like a tender friend who holds our hand when the night feels too dark. Compassion is the heart's way of reaching out to itself in times of pain. It is not about pushing sadness away or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it is about embracing our own suffering with warmth and understanding, just as we would comfort a loved one who is hurting deeply. This kindness is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in softness. Many people struggle with self-compassion because they believe they need to be perfect or strong all the time. They say, if I'm sad, it means I have failed, or I should be able to fix this on my own. But these ideas build walls around the heart, trapping sadness inside. The Zen master teaches that true strength comes from opening the heart, not closing it. Imagine a child who falls while learning to walk. The child does not scold or blame themselves. They simply get up and try again, knowing that stumbling is part of learning. In the same way, we must treat our hearts like that child, with patience, gentleness, and encouragement. When depression settles in, the mind can become a harsh critic, whispering painful words like, "You are not enough," or "You are broken." These words are not truths. They are echoes of fear and misunderstanding. Self-compassion helps us soften these words and replace them with voices of care, saying, "I am here for you. You are doing your best. And it is okay to feel this way." The practice of self-compassion begins with simple acts of kindness toward ourselves. It might be a moment of rest when the body feels tired, a warm cup of tea savored slowly, or gentle words repeated quietly in the mind. These small acts are powerful medicine for the heart. Mindfulness and compassion are closely linked. Mindfulness allows us to see our pain without judgment, while compassion invites us to respond with warmth. Together, they form a healing circle that supports us through dark times. Sometimes, self-compassion feels strange or unfamiliar. It can feel vulnerable to be so gentle with ourselves when sadness has made the mind so critical. But the more we practice, the more this kindness becomes a natural part of our inner world. Like a flower blooming slowly in the spring, compassion grows with care and patience. There is a beautiful story from the Zen tradition about a monk who carried a heavy load of guilt and sadness. One day, he met a teacher who sat quietly beside him and simply said, "Your heart is broken, and that is okay. Let me hold it with you." This simple act of shared compassion changed the monk's life. He learned that pain becomes lighter when it is met with kindness. Self-compassion is not about avoiding responsibility or ignoring problems. It is about facing difficulties with an open heart. When we are gentle with ourselves, we create space to heal instead of hiding behind shame or denial. When depression whispers lies of worthlessness, compassion shines a light on our true nature. The part of us that is small but brave, tired but willing, broken yet whole. This light is a quiet reminder that we are human, and being human means sometimes falling and needing care. Compassion also helps us forgive ourselves for mistakes or moments of weakness. Life is imperfect, and so are we. Rather than holding on to guilt or regret, compassion invites us to release these burdens and move forward with a lighter heart. Practicing compassion can be as simple as placing a hand over the heart and speaking softly to yourself. "May I be kind to myself," or "May I find peace." These words carry more power than we often realize. They open the door to healing and self-love. The Zen masters teach that when we cultivate compassion for ourselves, it naturally extends outward, toward others, toward the world. By healing our own hearts, we begin to heal the world around us. This ripple effect is the true power of self-compassion. There will be days when compassion feels distant or hard to find. On those days, remember that compassion is not a feeling to chase, but a choice to make. Choosing kindness toward yourself, moment by moment, plants seeds that grow into deep healing. The path of self-compassion also means listening to your needs and honoring your limits. Sometimes the best thing you can do is rest, say no, or ask for help. These choices are acts of strength and care. When sadness feels like a heavy cloud, compassion is the soft rain that gently clears the sky. It nurtures the heart, allowing light and warmth to return slowly but surely. Remember, you are not alone in this practice. Many have walked this path before and found that compassion changes everything. It turns pain into growth, fear into courage, and sadness into quiet hope. The invitation now is to touch your own heart with kindness, to speak gently to yourself when the mind feels harsh, to hold your sadness like a precious guest, welcome but not overwhelming. In time, compassion becomes a wellspring within you, a place you can return to whenever life feels hard. This wellspring nourishes the spirit and gives strength to walk forward, even when the path is unclear. So, as you continue on this journey, carry compassion in your heart like a lantern in the night. Let it light your way and soften the shadows, reminding you always that you are worthy of love and peace. The middle path and emotional balance. In life, when the heart is heavy with sadness and the mind feels lost in shadows, it is natural to search for a way, a road that leads away from suffering and toward peace. Buddhists call this journey the middle path, a gentle road that avoids the extremes of too much pushing and too much giving up. It is a path that invites balance, wisdom, and kindness into the heart's journey. The middle path is not about extremes. It is not about forcing happiness when the heart feels low, nor is it about surrendering completely to sadness. Instead, it teaches us to walk between these extremes with soft steps, neither running from pain nor drowning in it. This balance is the key to emotional well-being, especially for those struggling with depression. Imagine a tightrope stretched between two cliffs. On one side is the impulse to fight pain fiercely, refusing to feel anything. On the other side is the temptation to give in to despair completely. The middle path is the steady walk along the rope, keeping the heart open to feelings without being overwhelmed or closed off. When depression arrives, it can be tempting to push it away as quickly as possible. Many try to distract themselves with busy thoughts, errands, or loud noises, hoping the sadness will vanish. Other times, the mind may sink too deeply into the pain, believing that it will last forever and there is no escape. Both ways lead away from the gentle center where true healing begins. The Zen master teaches that true peace lies in welcoming all feelings with an open heart while maintaining a clear and calm mind. This does not mean ignoring sad feelings or being passive. It means embracing our experience fully, but not letting it take over completely. In practice, walking the middle path requires awareness. It asks us to notice when we are leaning too far toward avoidance, or when we are caught too deeply in sorrow. This noticing is like a teacher, gently guiding us back to balance. One way to find this balance is through steady, mindful breathing. The breath can anchor the mind, helping us return again and again to a place of calm amid emotional storms. With each breath, we practice coming back to the present moment, letting go of the urge to resist or grasp too tightly. Another step on this path is to recognize the fleeting nature of emotions. Feelings come and go, like waves rising and falling in the ocean. When sadness feels overwhelming, we can remind ourselves, "This too shall pass." This gentle reminder softens the grip of despair and opens the door to hope. The middle path also teaches us to care for ourselves with balanced effort. We don't push ourselves to be perfect or fix everything at once, nor do we give in to lethargy or hopelessness. Instead, we take small, steady steps, nurtured by compassion and patience. At times, this balance feels elusive. Life's challenges can tip the scales, and the mind can feel pulled by strong currents of emotion. But the Zen teaching is that balance is not a fixed place, like standing still on a tightrope, but a continuous practice of returning, again and again, to center. The middle path encourages us to see our feelings without judgment. Sadness is not bad, nor is happiness good. Both are part of the natural rhythm of life. When we accept emotions as guests who come and go, we free ourselves from the prison of resistance. There is a beautiful metaphor in Zen of a tree bending in the wind. The tree that is too rigid breaks, but the tree that bends stays strong. The middle path is like this bending, flexible, responsive, and resilient. It teaches us to adapt to life's changes without breaking our spirit. When depression threatens to pull us under, practicing the middle path helps us find stable ground. We learn that it is okay to feel sadness while also caring for our well-being. This caring might mean resting when tired, seeking connection when lonely, or simply sitting quietly with ourselves. Balance also comes in the way we relate to others. Depression can make us want to isolate or push people away. The middle path reminds us that connection with others is an important part of healing. We do not have to carry our pain alone. At the same time, balance means recognizing our limits and honoring them. Sometimes saying no, asking for help, or taking time for ourselves is necessary to maintain emotional health. The Zen master teaches that this is not selfishness but wisdom. The journey on the middle path is deeply personal and unique to each individual. There are no quick answers or one-size-fits-all solutions. Instead, there is humility and trust in the process of living mindfully and compassionately. The more we practice this balance, the more we notice moments of peace and clarity amidst difficulty. These moments are like small lanterns lighting the path ahead, reminders that the way is clear, even when the journey seems long. In this practice, we also cultivate gratitude for the simple gifts of life: breath, body, kindness, and quiet moments. Gratitude gently shifts the mind's focus from pain alone to the broader picture of existence, where joy and sorrow coexist. The middle path is not about erasing sadness, but about learning to live with it skillfully. It teaches us that life's fullness includes both light and shadow, and both are necessary for growth. A story from ancient Zen tells of a master who said, "Life is like a cup of tea, bitter and sweet together. To enjoy it fully, we must taste both. This taste of life is what the middle path invites us to embrace." As you continue on this path, remember that balance is a journey, not a destination. Each moment offers a chance to return to the gentle center where peace lives. The Zen master encourages you to walk this path with patience, courage, and kindness toward yourself. When the mind feels unsteady, come back to the breath. When the heart feels heavy, remember the tree that bends but does not break. The middle path holds space for all of you: your sadness, your hope, your fears, and your strength. It invites you to find a rhythm that honors your experience and leads you gently toward healing. With each mindful step, you are walking toward freedom. The freedom that comes from balance, wisdom, and an open heart. Stories of transformation in Buddhist wisdom. In the quiet corners of human experience, there are stories, timeless tales passed from teacher to student, that carry the light of transformation. These stories are not just words. They are windows into the truth that change is possible, even when the heart feels broken. When sadness feels endless, these stories remind us that healing is always within reach. Long ago, there was a young monk who struggled deeply with his own suffering. He felt lost in a sea of dark thoughts, unable to find peace. One day, his teacher simply asked him to sit silently by a river. The monk watched the water flow, sometimes clear and calm, other times rough and fast. The teacher said, "Your mind is like this river, ever-changing, never fixed. Just as the river flows, so too can your pain." This simple story is a powerful teaching. It shows us that suffering is not a permanent state, but a moment in time that moves with the rhythm of life. Watching the river, the young monk began to understand that his sadness did not define him. He was the observer. The river was the flow. Another story speaks of an old Zen master who carried deep sadness, but never let it close his heart. One day, a student asked him, "Master, how can you be so peaceful amidst so much pain?" The master smiled and replied, "Pain is part of the journey, but peace is a choice I make every day. I open my heart to the pain like the lotus opens to the sun, without resisting, without fear. The lotus flower grows in muddy water, yet blooms beautifully. It is a symbol of transformation and hope. Like the lotus, even in the darkest moments, the heart can open and blossom into something beautiful. This image invites us to see that our deepest wounds can become places of light and growth. There is also the story of Kisa Gautami, a woman who lost her only child and was overwhelmed by grief. She wandered from village to village seeking medicine to bring her child back. Eventually, she met the Buddha, who told her to find a mustard seed from a household where no one had died. Exhausted, she realized no such household existed. Through this realization, she understood the universality of suffering and found acceptance and peace. This story teaches that pain connects us all. When we see that everyone experiences loss and sadness, we are not alone in our pain. This shared human experience can be a source of comfort and compassion. Transformation is not about erasing pain, but about changing how we relate to it. The Zen master teaches that stories like these light the path by showing that even the heaviest hearts can find ease through awareness and acceptance. Sometimes, the dark nights of the soul lead to the brightest dawns. A story tells of a man who was trapped in a deep cave of despair. At first, he could see nothing, and fear surrounded him. But slowly, he noticed a faint light in the distance. Moving toward this light, step by step, he found a narrow opening to the outside world. When he emerged, the sun was shining, and the air was fresh. His journey through darkness was not in vain. It was a passage to new life. This metaphor offers hope to all who feel trapped by depression. The way out begins with small steps, notice, acceptance, and gentle movement toward light, even if that light seems faint at first. Another teaching from the Zen tradition is about the sound of one hand clapping. It is a paradoxical question meant to help the mind rest beyond ordinary thinking. Sometimes, the mind caught in sadness tries to solve the problem by thinking harder or pushing feelings away. The Zen master encourages letting go of this mental struggle and resting in pure presence, a space beyond words and judgments. This resting in presence is itself a transformation, a return to the heart's true nature beyond pain. It reminds us that peace is not outside, but always resting within us, waiting to be recognized. A story of a monk who lost his sight captures this idea beautifully. Although he could no longer see the world, he heard every sound with deep clarity: the birds, the flowing water, the gentle rain. His blindness opened a new window to the world beyond sight, teaching that loss can sometimes bring new gifts. Like this monk, when sadness dims one part of life, other parts may grow stronger. Transformation involves embracing both loss and new awareness, learning to live fully with the changing landscape of the heart. There are also simple stories of everyday people who, through kindness and patience, moved beyond their struggles. For example, the tale of a farmer who lost his crops to a storm but did not despair. Instead, he cared for his land carefully and planted again. With time, new life grew, teaching that resilience is born in the willingness to begin again, no matter how many times life knocks us down. These stories hold a gentle power. They show that transformation is possible for everyone, not just special monks or teachers. They invite us to trust the process of healing, to have faith in the slow unfolding of peace. The Zen master reminds us that every moment holds the potential for transformation. When sadness feels overwhelming, the practice of returning to these stories and teachings can open a door, a safe place to rest and begin again. Transformation in Buddhism is also about seeing our true nature, that beneath all the passing feelings and thoughts, there is a pure and radiant self untouched by suffering. This self is like the sky, vast, open, and free. When we begin to rest in this truth, the grip of depression loosens. Healing is a pathway walked one step at a time. Each breath, each moment of kindness to ourselves, each gentle awareness of pain is a step toward the light. Transformation is not a sudden event, but a gradual blossoming. Sometimes slow, sometimes surprising, always beautiful. The power of these stories lies in their reminder that darkness is never the final word. There is always a path from sorrow to peace, from suffering to joy. They hold hands across generations, inviting us to join the long journey of awakening. So, when the heart feels heavy, remember these stories. Let them be a soft lantern in the night, guiding you gently forward. Know that within you is the same strength, the same hope, and the same capacity for transformation. Each day offers a fresh beginning. Each moment, a chance to open your heart a little wider. And with open heart, healing begins. Meditation practices for inner stability. In the quiet folds of the mind, where the world's noise fades into stillness, meditation stands as a gentle guardian. It is a practice as old as time that offers refuge to those whose hearts carry the weight of sadness and the mind is restless like a stormy sea. Meditation does not promise to erase pain completely, but it shows us how to live with it more peacefully, how to find a calm place within that no sadness can reach. Imagine a pond in a quiet forest. When the wind blows, the surface ripples and becomes turbulent. But deep under the water, it is still and clear. Meditation teaches us to enter that deep stillness beneath the surface of our thoughts and feelings. In that stillness, peace lives, ready to be discovered again and again. The mind, when caught in depression, can feel like a chaotic whirlpool, pulling us in many directions at once. Meditation acts like a gentle anchor that holds us steady, allowing us not to be tossed about by every wave of emotion or thought. The Zen master says, "Sit quietly and watch the mind, but do not become the mind. You are the sky, not the clouds." There are many ways to meditate, but the heart of all practices is simple: to be fully present, to observe the flow of life without attachment or resistance. In the beginning, this might mean just noticing the breath, how it enters and leaves the body, calm and steady, like the tide rising and falling. When sadness feels overwhelming, the breath becomes a refuge. By returning to the rhythm of breathing, the mind can slow down its endless chatter and rest. This rest is not an escape, but a deep resting in the reality of the present moment. Another meditation practice is body scanning. This means paying gentle attention to different parts of the body, feeling any sensations, tension, or softness without trying to change them. Depression often manifests in the body as heaviness, tightness, or numbness. By lovingly exploring these sensations with curiosity, we reconnect with the here and now. As you breathe and scan the body, notice any areas that feel tight or painful without judgment. Simply allow them to be as they are. This acceptance softens the body and releases emotional tension held within. The Zen master teaches that the body and mind are not separate. Caring for one is caring for the other. Sitting meditation can be challenging at first. The mind may wander, and feelings of discomfort or restlessness may arise. This is natural. Instead of fighting these experiences, Meditation invites us to welcome them with a gentle heart. Like waves on the ocean, they come and go. We learn to sit with whatever arises, knowing it will pass. Walking meditation is another beautiful practice, especially when sitting still feels difficult. In walking meditation, each step is taken slowly and mindfully, fully aware of the movement and contact with the earth. The simple rhythmic movement grounds the mind and body, bringing a sense of calm and stability. The Zen master often reminds students, each step is a beginning, each breath a new chance. Be present. This practice teaches us that stability and peace are not found by escaping movement, but by moving with mindfulness and grace. Meditation also opens space for gentle self-inquiry. When thoughts or feelings arise, we can ask quietly, "What is this?" Or "Where is this feeling in my body?" These questions are not meant to solve a problem, but to deepen awareness. Through inquiry, we learn that feelings and thoughts are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. Over time, meditation helps us build resilience, the ability to stay grounded and peaceful even when life feels stormy. This resilience is like a deep root that holds the tree steady through winds and rains. The more we meditate, the stronger this root grows. Meditation also cultivates a special kind of kindness, a loving attention that can be turned inward. Known as loving-kindness meditation, this practice involves silently sending wishes of well-being to ourselves and others. Repeating phrases like, "May I be safe," "May I be peaceful," and "May I be free from suffering," opens the heart and soothes the mind. Depression often brings a harsh inner critic, but loving-kindness meditation waters the garden of self-compassion, allowing gentle flowers to bloom. This kindness is powerful medicine, reminding us that we deserve care and healing. The Zen master says, "Meditation is a conversation with your true self. Listen deeply." It is in this deep listening that we begin to see beyond surface pain and connect with the deeper awareness that is calm, clear, and steady. Sometimes, meditation leads to moments of stillness, so profound that the usual story of sadness seems to fade away. These moments, though subtle and fleeting, are glimpses of the heart's true nature, open, spacious, and free. Regular meditation does not mean that sadness disappears, but the way we relate to sadness changes. We learn to acknowledge it without fear or resistance. We can watch the waves of emotion without being pulled under. This skill transforms suffering into a path for growth and healing. In daily life, even a few minutes of mindful breathing or silent sitting can make a difference. These small moments accumulate, building a foundation of inner stability that supports us through difficult times. It is important to remember that meditation is a practice, not a perfect state to achieve. Each session is a new beginning. Some days the mind is clear and calm. Other days it feels restless and heavy. The Zen path encourages patience and kindness with ourselves throughout this unfolding journey. As you meditate, trust in the wisdom of your own experience. No one else holds your story. Allow yourself to be a gentle witness to your own heart, offering curiosity and kindness to whatever arises. The journey of meditation is a meeting place, where sadness and peace coexist, where restlessness and stillness dance. It is the place where true healing begins, not by fighting pain, but by resting in the vast openness where all feelings come and go. The Zen master invites you to make space for meditation in your life, to sit quietly, even in the midst of darkness, and discover the light of your own steady presence. With each breath, each moment of mindfulness, a deep stability arises, a foundation that no sadness can shake. This stability is the home where peace lives, waiting patiently for your return. Finding meaning beyond pain. When the heart is heavy and weighed down by sadness, it often feels as if life has lost its meaning. Moments that once seemed full of promise can become dull and gray. The question arises, why am I suffering? Does this pain have any purpose? These questions are natural and important. They invite us to look beyond the surface of sorrow and discover something deeper, meaning that can transform suffering into a source of awakening. The Zen master teaches that suffering, while difficult and painful, can also serve as a doorway, a gateway to understanding life more fully. Though it may not feel this way in dark times, pain can help us see what we might have missed before. It deepens our compassion, expands our awareness, and calls us to live more authentically. Imagine the seasons in nature. Winter is cold and harsh, yet without winter, spring's blossoming would not be possible. In a similar way, our difficult moments prepare the ground within our hearts for growth and new life. The darkness is not the end, but the quiet space where transformation begins. Finding meaning beyond pain does not mean denying sadness or pretending it is not there. It means embracing the whole truth of our experience, the joy and the sorrow, the light and the dark. This acceptance allows the heart to open gently, making room for new possibilities. Buddhism teaches that life is a balance of suffering and joy, loss and gain. Both arise naturally from the way things are. When we resist pain, it often grows stronger. When we open to it with a welcoming heart, yet do not cling to it, we begin to touch a deeper sense of freedom. There is a deep story in Buddhist tradition about a man named Angulimala, who caused great harm but found peace through understanding and compassion. His story shows that no suffering is too great to be transformed. When we find meaning beyond pain, we open the door to healing for ourselves and others. Sometimes, pain makes us question our values and priorities. It asks us to look at what truly matters. This questioning can lead to profound changes, helping us live with greater honesty and purpose. The Zen master encourages this inquiry, saying, "Pain is a kind teacher that asks us what we hold most dear." In this journey, meaning is not something fixed or distant. It is discovered moment by moment, in the simple acts of caring for ourselves, reaching out to others, and being present with life just as it is. Meditation and mindfulness practices help us find this deeper meaning. By sitting quietly with our feelings, we learn not to judge ourselves harshly or dismiss our pain, but to see it clearly. This clarity allows us to touch the wisdom hidden inside suffering. The Zen master teaches that the heart is like a garden. When pain arises, it is like a rough storm that shakes the trees. But after the storm passes, new buds appear and blossoms emerge. Meaning grows in the silent moments after pain when we nurture ourselves with patience and care. Finding meaning also involves connecting with others. Sometimes sharing our suffering with trusted friends or communities brings light into the darkness. We realize that we are not alone. Many have walked similar paths and found peace. This shared understanding offers comfort and strength. The path of meaning beyond pain invites us to see suffering as an invitation to awaken, to live more deeply, more fully, with awareness and love. This awakening is not about being free from difficulties, but about meeting them with an open heart. There are moments in meditation when the boundaries between self and other dissolve, when we feel a profound connection to all life. These moments remind us that our pain is shared by many, and that love and compassion are the common threads that bind us. Sometimes, meaning is found in the quiet courage to keep going, to face each day with honesty even when hope feels distant. This courage is a powerful form of healing and a profound expression of the human spirit. The Zen master reminds us that meaning is not about grand gestures or dramatic change. Often, it is woven through the small choices we make. In kindness to ourselves, in openness to the present moment, and in gentle care for the world around us. As you move through sadness, ask yourself gently, what is this moment teaching me? Listen with patience and kindness. The answer may come softly, like a breeze stirring the leaves, or as a quiet light breaking through the clouds. Healing is a slow unfolding, a delicate dance between holding on and letting go. Finding meaning beyond pain is part of this dance, a way of walking through suffering without losing sight of the light within. There is a story of a monk who sat quietly on a mountain, deeply troubled by his suffering. One day, he noticed a single flower blooming beside a rocky path. In that flower's simple beauty, he glimpsed the truth that even in pain, life offers moments of grace and meaning. This story invites us to open to the preciousness of each moment, even when sadness lingers. Meaning and healing arise in the space where we meet suffering with an open heart. The Zen master encourages you to hold this truth close, that pain does not erase the beauty of life. Instead, it shapes the way we see, deepens the way we love, and strengthens the way we live. By finding meaning beyond pain, the heart learns to dance with sadness and joy, shadow and light. It becomes a heart that can hold all things with grace. This is the path of awakening, the journey from suffering to peace, from darkness to light, from brokenness to wholeness. Awakening awareness, the freedom within, in the heart of every person. No matter how heavy the burden of sadness, there is a seed of freedom waiting to awaken. This freedom is not something outside ourselves, something to be found in distant places or circumstances. It lives quietly, deeply within. A clear, open space that cannot be touched by pain or suffering. The Zen master teaches that awakening this awareness is the true path to healing. It is a journey inward, to the place where the restless mind and aching heart meet a calm and steady light. This light is the awareness of who you truly are beyond sadness, beyond fear, beyond the endless stories the mind tells. Many people believe that freedom means escape from pain, from thoughts, from difficult feelings. But the Zen teaching tells us something different. True freedom is not about running away or pushing things aside. It comes from being fully present with life as it is, open to both joy and sorrow, strong amidst complexity. Imagine sitting quietly in a vast field. The sky is wide and endless above, clouds drifting by like thoughts. No matter what the weather, the sky remains unchanged, open, vast and free. This sky is like your true awareness, always present beneath the changing clouds of emotion. Awakening awareness means learning to rest as the sky does, to let thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go without clinging or resisting. When we begin to recognize this freedom inside, sadness loses its grip. It becomes one part of a larger, more beautiful picture. This awakening often starts with simple moments, a pause, a breath, a glance at the world with fresh eyes. These moments remind us that beneath all the noise and struggle, There is a stillness that is always with us. This stillness is not empty or cold, but full of gentle life. The mind may resist awakening by telling stories of hopelessness or discouragement. It may say, "I am trapped," or "I can never be free." These thoughts are like clouds covering the sky. The Zen master teaches that you are not these clouds. You are the sky that holds them. Practicing mindfulness helps cultivate this awareness. As we watch the mind gently, we see the passing nature of thoughts. We learn to stop identifying with them and realize that our true self is the observer, the silent watcher of all experiences. The freedom within is a space where judgment melts away. We stop fighting against what is and start accepting things as they are. This acceptance is not resignation but a deep wisdom, a knowing that life unfolds without needing us to control or fix every piece. Awakening also brings a deep sense of connection. When the heart opens in this way, it feels the unity of all life, not as a burden, but as a source of compassion and strength. We see ourselves not as separate, but as part of the great web of existence. This connection quiets the loneliness that depression so often brings. We realize that we are held in the arms of life, supported by countless unseen forces, by the earth, the sky, and the hearts of others. This realization brings comfort and courage. The Zen master teaches that true freedom comes not from getting what we want, but from wanting what we have. It is a shift from craving to gratitude, from grasping to letting go. When we want less and appreciate more, the heart feels lighter. Sometimes awakening awareness is described as waking up from a dream. We realize that many of our worries, fears, and sadness were like illusions, passing scenes in a story that we believed completely. This realization does not erase life's challenges, but changes how we see them. In meditation, this awakening is often experienced as moments of pure presence. When the mind is quiet and the heart is open, these moments are glimpses of freedom, reminding us of the peace that waits beneath every thought. The Zen master encourages patience on this path. Awakening is not a single event, but a gradual unfolding. Sometimes it feels near, other times distant. Each step forward is valuable, each return to presence a blessing. Self-compassion is a key companion in awakening. When the heart is harsh or fearful, it is hard to see clearly. Kindness to oneself softens the barriers, allowing awareness to shine through gently. As awareness grows, the cycles of depression become easier to navigate. We learn to recognize signs early and respond with gentle care. We understand that darkness is temporary and that we are not defined by it. Awakening freedom also invites us to live fully in the present moment. The past and future hold fears and regrets, but the present moment is where life truly lives. When we return to now, we find freshness, possibility, and peace. The Zen master reminds us, freedom is not to go far away. It is to be free right here, right now, in the breath that comes and goes. This freedom is always available to you, even in sadness, even in fear. You carry this freedom within you always, like a lantern in the night, a quiet light that guides you home. Each time you return to this awareness, you take a step toward healing and peace. No matter how deep the sadness, the freedom within cannot be taken away. It is your true nature. The vast sky, the deep ocean, the unchanging heart. Open to this freedom with a gentle smile. Let it hold you softly, carrying you through the waves of life. This is the awakening, the great gift waiting quietly inside. A closing reflection, walking forward with light. As we arrive at this final part of our journey together, it is natural to feel a mix of emotions. Perhaps a sense of hope, maybe a touch of sadness, or even uncertainty about the path ahead. All of these feelings are welcome. They are signs of a heart that is alive, sensitive, and ready to move forward. Walking through sadness and finding peace is not a quick journey but a gentle unfolding. A slow dance that takes patience, courage, and love. The Zen master reminds us again that no matter how heavy the heart, there is always light shining quietly inside. This light is your true nature, the part of you that is vast, free, and untouched by darkness. Like the sun behind clouds, it waits patiently for you to open your eyes and see it once more. This light does not demand you be perfect or whole. It simply asks that you come home to yourself again and again. In this final reflection, consider all that we have explored: the nature of suffering, the cycle of depression, the power of mindfulness, the gentle strength of compassion, and the steady path of balance. These teachings are not just words, but living keys that you carry within you. They invite you to unlock doors you may have thought were closed forever. There may be times ahead when sadness returns, but now you have new ways to meet it. You know that feelings change like the weather. You have the tools of meditation and mindfulness to steady your mind. You possess the courage to be kind to yourself and the wisdom to walk the middle path. These gifts are yours to hold and use gently. Remember this: healing does not mean the absence of pain. It means learning to live with pain without losing your peace. It means allowing sorrow and joy to exist side by side, like the night and day, like the ocean and the shore. This balance is the heart's deepest freedom. Sometimes the journey forward will feel slow. Patience is your companion. Be gentle with yourself as you would be with a dear friend. Every small step counts. Every breath is a new beginning. There is grace in simply showing up for yourself, day after day, moment after moment. As you walk this path, keep your heart open to connection. Seeking support from others, sharing your story, or simply sitting with another person in quiet presence can bring healing that is hard to find alone. You are part of a vast community of beings who have experienced suffering and have found ways to rise again. The Zen master offers this gentle reminder too. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is not just a number, but a light that helps this wisdom reach more hearts. It encourages us to keep weaving gentle teachings for all who seek. Your engagement makes a difference. It builds a community of healing and hope. A place where sadness can be met with understanding, and where freedom is within reach for everyone. Together, we walk this path with kindness and courage. Walking forward with light means carrying the lessons of awareness and compassion into each day. It means seeing yourself as you truly are, worthy, whole, and deeply loved. It means trusting the slow unfolding of healing, knowing that it is enough to be present and open. The Zen master often says the greatest practice is simply to be here, now, fully awake and tender. The present moment is your home. Returning to it again and again brings peace beyond words. In the silence of your own heart, beyond the noise of thoughts and fears, there is a stillness that holds all things gently. This stillness is your refuge and your strength. It is always with you, always welcoming, always free. So, as you step into tomorrow and the days beyond, carry this reflection softly in your heart. Let it remind you that the darkest moments are part of the human path, but not the end of it. There is always light beyond the clouds. Know that this journey is sacred. It is a story of courage and grace, of falling and rising, of sorrow and joy dancing together. And you are exactly where you need to be. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for your openness and your willingness to listen. May you find peace. May your heart open wide. And may your steps be gentle and sure. Remember, you are not alone. The light within you shines bright, today and always.